Can't believe we're here. This is crazy. Wow. What's going on, everybody? This is the very first episode filmed at Okemo Valley TV, The Tasty Twist. It's a brand new podcast featuring local Vermont musicians all around the state with yours truly, Sammy Blanchette, aka Sammy B. I am based out right here in Ludlow, Vermont. I've been performing about 20 years already, dating back to Connecticut. And I had a vision to start this a couple of months ago, just really hoping that Okemo Valley TV, the team here, and myself can really get a bunch of hardworking local Vermont musicians from all over the state, wherever they may want to be. They could be from all the way up in Canada or all the way down into Wilmington, to come on here, hang out for like a half hour, 45 minutes, bring their guitar. I interview them, throw some questions at them. But I also anticipate that it's going to go and be twisted in a completely different direction. Talk about life, food, hobbies, all that jazz. So that's the play on words with the tasty twist. The tasty part is when you're playing a guitar lick and it sounds really good, or as we call it in music school, or just terminology, tasty. And twist is obviously just the conversations could go in a different direction. So we're here to make a nice, fun, laid-back episode each and every week, or each and every time that we get an artist in here. This being a podcast, there's no exact release times yet, but we'll let you know about that. But without further ado, I'm very excited to introduce our debut musician here, coming from Royalton, Vermont, right? You were saying, yeah, Royalton, Vermont. And it's an honor as my first guest to have the very talented Alison Turner, also known as Ali T. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
How are we doing
thanks
today?
For having me. I'm really good.
You know, we already just kind of established a lot of banter like before doing the episode and everything. But I guess we'll just take it off. Like, where do you want to begin? You know, just explain a little bit about yourself and
yeah, definitely. So
all that jazz.
Yeah. So as you said, my name's Ali T. Alison Turner. Ali T is my stage name. You can probably figure that one out.
Yeah.
And I've been a musician for, well, professionally.
Right. There's a title for it.
Exactly. Yeah. For about almost 10 years now.
Nice.
But of course, I've been singing forever, and I've been playing guitar since I was 11. Writing songs since I was 7. And it's just been such a fulfilling experience for me being a full-time musician.
Did you start with taking lessons vocally or guitar, or kind of like both at the same time? Like, what did you start out with before?
I think the first lesson I had, I think, was guitar. Yep, when I was 11 with Ed Eastridge out of Hanover, New Hampshire, at Hanover Strings. And then I took some voice lessons here and there throughout high school. And then in college, I took some more voice lessons. But.
And in college, you graduated, if I'm not mistaken, with a major and a minor, correct?
Yeah.
One in music, and then the other one was minor. Correct me if I'm wrong again. It was
so I majored in arts administration with a concentration in theater and music, and then I minored in psychology and film and media studies.
Very nice.
Yeah, so it was a wide array of...
Hence the use of Reels for TikTok and Instagram, like we were talking about before, right? Trying to figure out how to put that all together.
We're just talking about the world and how to promote ourselves nowadays.
Yeah, and you graduated when again? When did you graduate?
2015.
2015, right. Yeah.
From WAG.
And you're 31, right?
31,
Yep. And as we were like chatting about beforehand, just how much everything has changed technology-wise, from marketing, social media, everything.
Yeah.
I chat with people every single day, how astonishing it is, how fast it just keeps on moving. I'm sure you could agree.
It's hard to keep up with, right? Yeah. There's always a new platform that you have to be up to date with, and you have to know how it all works.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you have to promote yourself.
Yeah, and we chat about this as well too, and let the audience know as well too. That's another full-time job in and of itself.
Oh yeah,
definitely. The graphic design and the content on social media.
Yeah, it's hard to find the time because you have to. Yeah, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's all these things you have to keep up with. Facebook, and keeping all your socials consistent. It's hard.
That's
the
hardest one. Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Yeah, and designing posters and all the publicity.
Because it's amazing, comedians, artists, when they hit it big with one or two videos, all of a sudden that's where you're in a position to hire a couple of people to do all this for you, as long as you have like the final oversight on it.
Yeah. And once you have that momentum, you have to keep it going.
Yeah. But it's like, how do we also know the right amount of time for the video. You ever think about that?
Lucky. Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's got to be challenging. So, explain a little bit also too. How do you divvy up like before shows or like before a set of shows like for a month? Like, I guess it also depends on the type of show that you're doing, but how much time you spend on practicing scales, your songs or new chords, and then also diving into the computer to do the business work,
right?
Like we were talking about.
Well, so this isn't the answer you want, but usually I don't. My practice is at my gigs, usually.
Same.
Yeah. I mean, if I want to do a new song, I'll bust it out at a gig and see how it goes. And if I'm like, that was a little too low, the next gig I'll do a capo higher and just keep on experimenting until I like it.
Depends on how hoarse your voice is from the gig before too.
Yeah, exactly. And so, the practice is at the show usually.
Yeah.
And then whenever I'm not at a gig, I'm always, trying to take photos of different things to promote myself. And
If you find like time at home to practice your guitar, like your songs, I think about this like every once in a while. Like there's a spot in my condo, or maybe I want to drive up Okemo or a field to just get away from everything and then play my guitar, maybe take photos also as well too. There's something that's so peaceful about Vermont itself, where you can just go anywhere, get lost from a suburb, a city, not that we have like major cities, but and then just play your guitar. It's nice to just get away as like that escape.
Definitely.
Not just in your bedroom or like right in front of your computer. Like, here's new lyrics I have to learn for this wedding or this private event. No, just go in the middle of the woods or anywhere and just strum.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're lucky that we can do that here.
Yeah. And you mentioned you have a couple cats and a couple of dogs.
Yep. So I have one cat right now. We used to have 4 of them. One of them being a special needs cat. That was my baby. I loved him. His name was Luca, but we lost him back in November. And then our other 2 cats went slowly after that. And so it was like, just losing cats left and right.
Yeah.
So we have one right now. His name is Soul. And
you spell it S-O-U-L?
Actually, S-E-O-U-L, like the city. Because all of our animals we like name after places typically. And so he was Soul. And then we have 2 dogs, an Aussie and a Border Collie.
Nice. Getting back to the special needs cat, I'm curious on that because I don't know if I've told you this in passing in the couple of times that we've met and gotten to know each other. I have a younger sister. Her name is Julia. She's special needs, nonverbal. So I'm curious, how do they diagnose that in animals?
Well, so we didn't get it officially diagnosed. I mean, at the vet, they did say that he has some problems that they would have to, do x-rays and all these tests to see exactly what it was to get a diagnosis. And we were like, well, we don't really have the money to spend all that. And so Google was my friend.
Even if you had pet insurance, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But I pretty much, I'm 90% sure he had something called cerebellar hypoplasia or wobbly cat syndrome. And so at first, when he was little, you didn't
You sure he wasn't drinking?
Yeah, right. Maybe. Right. Check his water. No, he seemed normal and he was just a little bit wobbly, as kittens are. But then as he grew up, he kept on being wobbly and he would start falling over when he was walking. And so eventually he just stopped using his legs altogether. And there might have been something along with the cerebellar hypoplasia too. But yeah, we had to take care of him like he was a newborn baby. We fed him, hand fed him 4 times a day. We took him to the litter box. It was a big job. Wow. But we loved him. He was the best.
Yeah. And how old was it? How old was he?
He was about 3. He was a little over 3. Yeah.
It's a general age for cats. They live a pretty long life.
They can live up to 20 years.
Yeah. 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 And I know my girlfriend and I went swimming at Plymouth State Park in Echo Lake the other day, and we ran into this gentleman who was on his boat. He was up in the Killington area, and he's got a yellow lab that was 14 and still going strong, which for labs generally get about 10 to 12 good years on them. So right now, Denver is 3, and we always say we hope he's going to last a lifetime.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Forgot to mention everybody also too, incorporating my family, my girlfriend Erica, and our dog Denver in the fold. She told me today before the recording of the first episode that if you rub a Buddha's belly, which is who we have right here. He's our little spiritual figure right here. It's going to wish us good luck, which I myself can speak as my first public speaking on a podcast or radio form at all, that it's good to have a little good luck on my end
Always.
here, you know, right? Yeah. Getting back to lessons and instruments, performing and everything. Did you ever play piano or study piano?
I did, yeah. When I was 6, I took Suzuki piano lessons.
Suzuki
It was called.
Wow.
It was like a method or something. And I think the process is to hone the ear. And so I think that helps hone my musical ear, learning how to play piano.
Did you ever learn how to sight read?
Not on the piano. I did in like middle school in band.
But you did like tablatures on like guitar and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Did some tabs.
Did you find it hard?
The tab actually I found a lot easier.
Right, than the actual notes. Yeah. I don't know. Like I graduated with a music performance degree in business management, and I always have felt more comfortable listening to records and listening to other artists and playing off there.
Yep.
Sight reading, I'm happy that I accomplished what I did and writing all that in school, but I always and still find it very challenging. And you get some of the most amazing classical or jazz trained musicians that just read it
I know.
on the sheets of paper. It's very impressive.
Mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how you do that.
It's incredible.
I feel like less of a musician. Like, I don't know music theory that well.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about some of your favorite artists / bands that got you into being a professional performing artist, and has your listening palette for what you like to listen to, whether it's in the car or at home to get inspired, has that changed over the years? Like, kind of tell us a little bit about some of your
question. Yeah. So I would say, I always say that I don't really have musical influences in the sense that I've never listened to something and been like, I want that exact sound and I'm going to try to imitate it. But I've always just done my own thing. But I definitely think pieces of all the things I listen to obviously go into my music.
Absolutely. And you kind of and then you make it your own. Like you already know that you're Ali T, you have your own thing going on, but you can incorporate certain nuances, whether it's facial expressions or ways that singers paraphrase, whether it's a certain octave, like high or low, or put a little twist to their vocals also as well too. And same with strumming or soloing also as well too.
Yeah. And I'd say my favorite band of all time is a band called Brand New. They're out of New Jersey. They're not together anymore, but they were awesome. They're like an alt rock band. And when I was younger, I listened to a lot of emo stuff and pop punk, and I love Blink-182.
Nice. Yeah.
And Green Day. Green Day was the first album that I brought to my guitar teacher when I was 11.
To
like,
Ed,
teach me. Teach me how to play Boulevard of Broken Dreams. And that's how I first learned how to play chords. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. And I just, I listened to all sorts of things.
Was it the 1/5, like, and just the strumming down the...
Oh, I don't even remember. It was like, he was like, this is an E minor chord. That's not a Green Day
song, by the way. That is just totally on the fly. But
he was just like, okay, so this is E minor, this is D, this is A minor, this is whatever it was. And
you're like, I already knew that.
You were well on your way. Now I'm a guitar player. Now that I know these 4 chords. Yeah. But Death Cab for Cutie, I love them too.
Oh, great band. I discovered them like later on, like in my 20s.
Yeah.
What a solid band.
Oh my God, yeah. And Ben Gibbard is an awesome lyricist too.
Yeah. You ever listen to Incubus a lot?
I saw them a couple times, like accidentally.
Did you?
And they are mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Especially live.
Did you ever see them recently? Out of curiosity?
2012, I think, was the last time I saw them.
Okay. A while ago.
So a while ago.
Yeah. There's a funny story, a really cool opportunity for this female bass player who is a monster. Her name is Tao Wilkenfeld.
Oh, I've heard of her. Yeah.
Very famous for playing with the late, great Jeff Beck years ago with amazing drummer Vinny Caliuta. And I think a couple of years ago, Incubus was looking for a fill-in bass player, and she got the call for the entire tour. I'm like, man, I would have loved to have been
what a life.
But it's so funny. She's like, I think almost 40.
Really?
And she still looks so young, like 15.
I thought she was very young.
She's so young.
That's amazing.
It's like, wow, that's the fountain of youth. That's so cool. But she's a monstrous bass player. There's there's this one video of them doing one of Jeff Beck's most iconic songs from, I think it's his album Blow by Blow from 1975. It's called 'Cause We've Ended as Lovers. And he plays the melody, and then he gives Tal the first solo, and she's doing all these crazy arpeggio chops, just chromatic, like half whole tone step, like scale stuff. And she's smiling like the whole time, and it's blowing Jeff Beck. And you just see like the crowd like reaction. And Jeff's just like, you got to be kidding me. And then she just breaks out like laughing after that. So
that's awesome.
Segueing into, this is the twist part, ladies and gentlemen. So you're learning on the fly here as we're going. Yeah. Wouldn't you say that's a huge part of the shows is if you're having fun, whether it's fully your night or not, whether it's physically or emotionally, if you're having fun, the audience is most likely going to have fun.
Typically. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And they just sense it too. Even if you might not be jumping all around, all over the stage, they can still pick up on, they're like, she loves what she does. Yeah.
Do you have a certain percentage of bar restaurant shows versus weddings, cocktail hours, like different sorts of like functions? How do you go about planning that as you're essentially your own booking agent, like booking all that?
Pretty much whenever the requests come in for weddings and stuff, I don't have any specific way of reaching out for weddings or anything. But every once in a while I'll get maybe 2 or 3 weddings a year. People reach out asking to do their ceremonies or their cocktail hour.
What's the farthest you've ever traveled for one gig?
Well, what's a gig?
Like go there and then come back in the same 24-hour span.
Would I be getting paid?
I would hope so.
Well, okay. So I had a show.
I would hope so.
I had a show in Thane. It was a Thane, Idaho or Afton, Wyoming.
Oh.
And it's right outside Jackson, actually.
Oh, what we were talking about. Yeah.
And so I had a show out there, but it was kind of one of those things where it was like, hey, I have a guitar and I'm going to play. It wasn't a paid gig, but I was there. I got a free dinner.
Me. I'm ready to.
Right. I was like, I got a gig in Wyoming. So there's that.
Here's my pet cow. Here's my snake.
You're right. Yeah. Same thing happened in Rome. I was in Italy for.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The owner of the restaurant was like, "You play guitar? Here's my guitar. Play for us." And so
did he ask for a ton of Italian music or?
No, but he did sit in with me and he played. It was a lot of fun. So technically,
that's awesome.
I played and. That's the furthest I've played.
The bar must have gone wild when he like came in like, oh, here's this random stranger and here's the owner coming up and playing.
Yeah, and actually the table right in front of us, there was a couple from Toronto.
Nice.
It's like, hey guys, I'm from Vermont.
Toronto's a really fun city also too.
I've never been.
Went there years ago. I recommend it.
Okay.
They have what Seattle has out in Washington. They have like a space, with an observatory tower. A funny story. I remember it was high school trip in high school. So this is back in 2007. We went to the Hockey Hall of Fame. We went to their Chinatown. We also went on another trip to the Canadian side of Niagara Falls, which I've been twice. That's cool. I made it a mess. But anyways, I remember going to the top of the observation deck and it's a clear see-through floor, glass.
Ooh,
and I was having a blast. But one of my high school mates, he looked at that and go,
I'm sure.
He couldn't stand on it. And his friends were just like, come on, bud, you got this. And then this little 3-year-old just starts hopping on it, jumping on it.
Oh boy.
And
I don't trust this glass.
I could have sworn he was almost ready to throw up. How scared he was, just seeing like how this kid is doing that, but I can't. Like I'm just walking across. This is no big deal. This is no big deal.
Right?
I got this. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But definitely recommend going there. Okay. And one of the all-time most favorite prog rock bands is from Canada, Rush.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. Another segue to a different form of the musician side of life. I heard in an interview years ago that it's just 3 of them. They made it their entire career 40 years before they called it quits. In majority of their career, all 3 of them traveled in different forms of transportation to the shows.
That's funny.
Think about that, like because
boat,
a boat,
boat, train,
motorcycle.
Yeah.
What's that Dr. Seuss book? Would you have the eggs in a boat? Would you do it on a boat?
Yeah,
I
green
do not
eggs
eat
and
them.
ham.
Green eggs and ham. Sam, I am. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So how cool is that? Because you've played with groups before. Obviously, you have your own band. Is it the Ali T band? Like when I saw you up in Burlington for the Eclipse?
Yeah. So I don't have a name for it. I'm just like it's Ali T
and friends
with the band.
With the band.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
And my boys.
And my boys.
Yeah. But oh my gosh, playing with them is definitely special.
You
I
guys
love playing
killed
with
it with the Soundgarden Chris Cornell song Black Hole Sun.
Thanks.
Jim Yeager, who's going to be a special guest in a few weeks, by the way, on the Tasty Twist. Jim Yeager from the Upper Valley, Woodstock area. Him and I are just looking at you like, that is so cool.
Oh,
that was an amazing version.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
He probably had a lot of influence on you vocally, right, Chris? The late great Chris Cornell.
No. I don't know. I do my thing.
Yeah.
No,
That's
but
awesome.
he's great too. Yeah. Amazing.
My mother was kind of the one in my family that got me into the 90s and like grunge music and everything.
Yep.
And we always have this conversation like later on in life. Who did it better, Scott Weiland of Stone Temple Pilots or Chris Cornell of Soundgarden? And personal opinion, they're both monsters and very unique. But that's kind of like the Rolling Stones, like top 100 guitar players. It's an apples and orange conversation.
People
it's an apples and orange conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
But I just remember first time hearing Chris Cornell, and my mom was like, "Yep, that's Chris Cornell, Soundgarden. He can sing so high as a male that he can like rip the paint off like the wall or the ceiling. How high he goes.
God, yeah.
Probably same with like the late great Chester Bennington or any of these guys.
I think he's my favorite male vocalist of all time. Yeah,
Awesome.
So good.
Awesome. So you have a couple albums or a couple of EPs on Spotify and streaming platforms like Apple, Amazon, iTunes.
Yep, all the things, all the streaming.
All the stuff. Did you record everything in Vermont or did you record them?
Yep, all of it in Vermont. The first album, Smoke and Mirrors. First album, I mean, I've been recording things myself since high school and releasing singles here and there. And
what was the big thing? GarageBand?
Yes,
remember that? Yeah, GarageBand. Yeah, on the old laptops. Yeah.
And that's how I started. Like my music production was on there, just learning,
burning CDs,
myself.
like putting them into the computer. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
We had to do what we had to do.
Yeah, we had to.
But Smoke and Mirrors, I did partially in just my home studio and with Eddie Stridge in Thetford, and so that was that album. And then the Makeover were those GarageBand songs that I had in the past, and I sent them away to Vincent Freeman at the Underground in Randolph.
I used him for my EPs and my album eventually, which was released this past January. He's awesome. Yeah.
He edited
Vincent,
it for me.
Listen, woo!
Yeah, he edited the songs and made them sound better than I had done them when I was in high school.
And his master producer out west, Michelle, I think is his name. I always mispronounce his name. I'm so sorry, but he's like the nicest guy. Both him and Vincent are like the nicest guys, and they do just such solid work. They do amazing work.
They're great.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, but how was like the recording process? Like, was it quick for you? Easy? What did it take time?
Well, so like for example, my latest album, Pancakes at Midnight, I did all by myself.
Sounds delicious. Pancakes at midnight, like all the sugar like before bed.
Yeah,
you're talking. Yeah.
Love the sugar. Love the sugar. Pancakes at Midnight was my latest album that I did myself, and a lot of those songs I had written during the pandemic, and so technically, I mean, that's like a 4-year span from writing, and then I typically when I record, I'll record most of the song, but then I'll step away from it for like a year sometimes.
Do you
and go back?
When you write a song, do you record it or write some lyrics down so that way you remember?
Definitely,
because that is
phone memos.
That's my biggest thing. I don't record everything and don't write it all down. Right?
Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night with a tune in my head, and then I'll be like, and I'll hum it into the phone.
Yeah.
And then when it's time to, I'm like, I need to write a song. I go back into those memos, and I'm like, all right, this is something to work with.
Yeah.
And I just go from there.
Yeah. You ever use the Notes app on your smartphone?
Yes.
Sometimes I like write like little parts of a chorus down on that.
Yeah,
sometimes.
That's the best way to do it.
One of my favorite, I'm sure you know this artist, Warren Haynes, Government Mule, Allman Brothers Band.
I don't.
Yeah. Oh, so the amazing Warren Haynes, 65, he's been playing for a long time. Funny story about him. Well, I'll get to this real quickly. Same process. He does that well too. Yeah. He writes so many albums for his band, and he performs still at 65, well over 300 shows a year all across the country. I think he lives out of Manhattan. I think he's got a primary home with his wife. Anyways, that's what he's said in interviews also too. Sometimes 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning comes and he's got the thought and he's like, I got to wake up and write it down. That's how I have to do it. Yeah. But man, chipmunk squirrel. I already forgot what I was going to segue into after that. Yeah. Speaking of the city. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Segue. Life in New York City when you were hanging out there and Staten Island when you went to school, and how you got back to Vermont and just realized, I'm a Vermont girl. This is where, tell the audience about that a little bit.
Yeah. So it was, I graduated from South Royalton High School, it was at the time, with a class of 30 kids that I had been with since I was in kindergarten, And so
that's a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
Those 30 kids, roughly, like my whole life, those are the only socialization I've had. And then I went to Wagner College on Staten Island, and it was still a small school for most people. It was like 600 kids maybe total. In the entire college. But it was still culture shock for me, and going from country to city with so many new people that I have to meet and put yourself out there. So it was intimidating.
Yeah.
But
how did you like it from? How did you like it from just forget just the musician side, like adapting Lower Manhattan or like Brooklyn, for example, just every single block, like a new restaurant, new type of food, culture. Because I think Manhattan alone, or in and around like the 5 boroughs, is up to almost 9 million people now as of like, so 2024. It had to have been, from a culture shock, just the new types of food, the hobbies, the lifestyle of everybody.
Just watching everyone on the go, hustle bustle, looking down at their phones, the subway, just seeing all different walks of life. Yeah. This is different, and it was great. It was a great experience. I had an internship in Tribeca my last semester of college. And so every morning I'd have to go from shuttle, I would drive to the ferry, catch the ferry, and then take the subway. Oh, wow. And then walk a couple blocks. And it was every morning. I'd wake up at 4 a.m. because it was a radio internship. Oh, wow. And so I was.
So you have a similar background with this, like not like
similar.
Like podcast or radio form. You have like some experience like doing this stuff. Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. It was definitely a good look into what city life would be like. And it was great. Yeah. But whenever I would come home every couple of months, it was like, this is my home. Yeah. I love the colors and the greenery. And it's just.
When did it, how many trips did you have to do back and forth between Vermont to Staten Island where you said, yep, I need to permanently get back to Vermont? Because for me, I graduated college and then I was a weekend warrior up here skiing Okemo and branching out at different restaurants and bars, building my music career up here. And a lot of other different things like going on in my life in Connecticut, just working with family and other miscellaneous things. But, after like 4 or 5 years of consistently doing that in the winter and also like weekends on the summer, I just said, you know what? I just want to stick to Vermont Route 103 north and south. No more 91, no more Merritt Parkway 84. Yeah. Yeah. Cause I feel like every time I go back to Connecticut to visit family and friends, Erica and we get to Springfield, Mass, Enfield, Connecticut. It's like, okay,
buckle up, pay attention.
Buckle up. I gotta like really pay attention.
Turn the music down.
Yeah. But was there like a breaking point where you're like, yep, I need to get back to Vermont?
Like now? Honestly, I wasn't chomping at the bit to get out of there. I had applied to some jobs in the city, hoping maybe I'd hear from them and that would be my job after college, but I never heard back from any of them. And so it was just like a natural, well, I graduated. Yeah. Guess I go back home now. And so I went back home, and that's when I just immediately started playing gigs. Yeah. And I love it here anyway. And I love my family, and I had a boyfriend back here and everything. Yeah. So
it's probably gotten easier since being back in Vermont and growing your brand with because you do a phenomenal job, like so many local musicians around here, from the social media marketing and merch and online store. Promoting yourself on Spotify. Yeah. I would imagine that through consistency and professionalism, like with gigs, showing up like on time, getting back to bar and restaurant managers or people like inquiring about parties, it's probably gotten, I don't want to say easier is the exact word, but it's gotten probably more consistent that people are chomping at the bits to hire you for gigs, right?
Well, yeah, I would say it definitely helps if you have a good experience with them. They had me back once and it was good and I'm responsible and I show up on time, then they're more apt to have me back. Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you and your band have anything on the horizon project wise?
I would love for that to happen. Every night when I go to bed, I think about, I'm like, what's the next thing I can do with them because they're so awesome.
The cats and the dog have to give you the motivation, right? They got to chirp in with ideas too, right?
For sure.
They got to pull their weight, you know?
What do you guys think?
You guys, freeloaders, you're hanging out at the house, like rent free. Come on,
honestly,
give me some ideas.
I would love to do a live album with them in the studio because the things that they come up with on my songs, sometimes I'm just like, that's exactly what I wanted in this song.
Yeah.
And so just to do some of my old songs with the whole band would be awesome.
Yeah. Tell myself and everybody here really quickly, how was that like playing at the Eclipse in Burlington?
I think it might have been my favorite show to date.
Yeah.
It was just, I had the adrenaline pumping. There were 7,000 people.
I thought there was
over
more.
7,000.
I think there was more than 7,000.
Maybe there were a lot of people.
Jim and I were looking around like, wow.
Yeah, and I know they weren't there for me.
People on the news channels were like, "Hey, you're amongst 600 people." What?
Right. Just to be around that many people coming
packed.
Together.
It was packed.
Yeah, it was so cool. It was it was magical, and I wasn't expecting to have any kind of emotional experience.
Wasn't it cool the temperature drop?
It was. Oh, it was so cool.
How about the temperature drop? That was so cool.
It was so cool.
For those that don't know, the eclipse that happened on Monday, April 8th, it was 100% over Burlington.
Yeah.
And I ended up playing a show on the Vermont Railway System train, the Green Mountain Dinner train, and ran into Ali and her band up there, which we were blown away.
The waterfront.
But how cool was that?
It was so good. And so they advised us to hang out after because the interstate was going to be jammed.
Yeah.
But I was like, it'll be fine. It might take 2 hours to get home instead of 1. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
What usually takes an hour, it took me over 5 hours to get home.
Oh.
But I didn't care at all.
Yeah.
And nobody else seemed to care either. There was no horn honking or anything.
Yeah.
I had a Slim Jim and some water. I was good.
I think everybody was floored and so excited that they got to see something historic.
Yeah.
They got to see something historic.
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate this is also too, folks, but 21 years from now, so start with that. What's technology going to be like? What's everything going to be like 21 years from now? The next one of 100% goes over, I believe, Disney World.
Yeah, I saw that too. They were like the most expensive Disney ticket ever. Yeah, I saw that.
Because Disney World is already wild enough from a people watching experience.
Right, exactly. Add an eclipse.
Yeah. I went there 2 years ago for the first time in 20 years, and man, it was way different than I remember.
Really?
We stayed in Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Whoa, cool.
Did you ever go there? Animal Kingdom Lodge?
So not the lodge, but I did go to Disney back in April.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where'd you go? Like Epcot or?
Went to all of them.
Nice.
Yep. We did it all in one day. And I was like, all right, I'm definitely too old for this. Put in like 30,000 steps. It was like, I think I lost a few pounds.
Yeah. What was really cool, speaking of culture, like with the city and everything, Epcot, where they have all the different countries, like the homes and the food and everything. So Erica and I, of course, first, and that was a question I was going to ask you too. Favorite like comfort food. We love Mexican food. So we just chomped at the bits to go.
I'll tell you right now, I just did a video about this the other day. Pasta.
Nice.
Period. Pasta.
Any specific type of pasta?
Not really. Just throw any kind of pasta with any kind of sauce. I'm happy.
Meatballs, sausage, any particular type of sauce?
No. Well, so
goes well with a glass of wine.
Ideally, probably I'd have some angel hair with pesto.
Okay.
But anything really. I'm Italian, so.
Yeah. Desert island food, pizza. If I'm stuck on a desert island, pizza, chicken wings.
Oh.
Yeah, as far as food, that's like my main
go-to.
That's your go-to? Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. By the way, are you picky on pizza? I'm not really.
No, I'm fine with the pineapple on it. Mm. That's fine.
Love the half hour away from New Haven, that's where everybody dubs the pizza capital of the country. Yeah, New Haven, Connecticut.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then you get the people, Chicago, Detroit, New York, it's pizza. Just give me a good cheese pizza. It's solid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not picky.
Yeah. Or a Vermonter with apples, bacon, a white pie.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Well, so on Friday, I have a gig at Stone's Throw Pizza.
Oh, nice.
North. They have the best pizza I think I've ever had. They'll throw whatever on there and make it work. And it's so good.
Nice. You ever have it with buffalo chicken or barbecue chicken?
Yes.
Yeah.
We could talk about food forever.
Yeah, I know. I'm making us hungry right now just talking about this. Yeah, absolutely. Let's I got a couple other questions for you to ask you, and then you guys are probably wondering why we have the guitars in our hand. It's just it's here. So
decoration
makes noise. Yeah, decoration exactly. I brought in because I love skiing, and it's one of the reasons why I moved up here. Why do I have this, you may ask?
Yeah, why?
Well, so the reason I have this, what is the oddest thing that you have seen at a show or that you've done while playing a show in your career? We could start with like what you've seen. If you had to like dig in your memory, like what's the oddest thing?
Once a guy at my show showed up on a lawnmower. Like instead
Really?
of, he pulled up on his lawnmower.
Was it like a parking lot show?
Yes.
Yeah, was it really? Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I was close to the parking lot. And I was like, this guy. That's pretty cool.
Oddest thing you've done at a show?
Oh, I'm trying to think.
Whether it's screw up a song, a costume, because I'm assuming like Halloween's got to play like a big factor in life for shows for us.
I mean, I definitely had Halloween costumes on while I was playing, but I don't even think that's odd. That's cool.
That's wicked cool. Yeah,
I think it was something weird.
But again, it's 2024, so oh man, you got to dress normal, man. You can't be dressing odd. So, fun fact, why I have this. 13 years ago at the Killarney in Ludlow, right down the road, famous Irish pub around here, I started habitually dressing in a green one-piece ski outfit with this on also as well too.
Okay.
People loved it.
They loved it.
This was before Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
But there were still smartphones. So they were just pictures away. Everybody was having a good time. Yeah. It's an Irish bar on a Saturday night. What can go wrong dressing like this, you know?
It would protect you from beer bottles.
Right. Yeah.
Who needs chicken wine?
Or shot glasses, right? Yeah.
Right.
Or, yeah. But it was an attitude. So yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So is it odd or is it just cool?
I would say that's a shtick.
A shtick.
Yeah.
A shtick. With a capital S and an HTICK.
I think so.
Oh, by the way, you were talking before about the spelling of your cat. So there's certain Oh yeah, that part of the conversation. Yeah. Oh yeah, that. Names like Sean. How many different spellings there are for Sean?
Many.
There was a Major League Baseball player called Sean Figgins, and his first name spelling, CHONE.
I've never seen a C.
Wild, right?
Wow.
You can see it though, right?
That's wild.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Well, hey, we have the guitars here. What do you say we play one of your songs?
Yeah, let's play.
Yeah. So what did you think? It's a song called...
This one's one that I wrote.
Shades, by the way, too.
Shades. I forgot the shades.
Yep. There we go.
This one I wrote during the pandemic. And I was at home like everyone else, and I was kind of contemplating my life, you know, right?
Wild times.
Yeah.
Wild times.
What should I be doing?
That's like most of my songs since I recorded that. Vincent's, by the way, the Underground. They're COVID songs.
Yeah, COVID songs.
So we were productive.
Yeah.
But contemplating our life at the same time.
Contemplating our life.
Yeah, contemplating our life. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And so this one's about kind of anxiety and feeling uncharacteristically down. And so this song is called Down. Wonderlands.
Okay. Nice.
Darkness just under my skin, and I'm not talking about the gin and tonic I just starts back. It has a foreign feel like a disease, and I'm hoping please that isn't the case. There is no history, not in my family, therefore I choose to ignore it. But I don't feel like myself, and I'm starting to worry I'm not okay. At least there's a hole in my psyche. I think I'm falling down. It's not like the story of psychedelic wonderland. I'm just a little down. A common theme, but not for me. I fear my sanity is on the line. I could sit here staring at the wall, talk to no one at all, and still be totally fine. Is there anyone out there like me, stuck in neutrality, open for some answers? Do I need another pill a day, or will it go away? It's starting to wear me out. There's a hole in my psyche. I think I'm falling down. It's not like the just a little down. I know those who lost their way are not the same as them. I've got it easy, I walk on a path, just want my disposition back. As there's a hole in my psyche, I think I'm falling down.
Yeah.
It's not like the story in a psychedelic wonderland. I'm just a little down. Alice, there's a hole in my psyche. I think I'm falling down. It's not like the story in a psychedelic wonderland. I'm just a little down. It's a little Love it.
Nice job.
You too.
I tried harmonizing on the end there.
No, that was cool.
Yeah.
I liked it.
That was
I liked
awesome.
the canoodling.
Wow. Well, this was so much fun. I can't thank you again for making this like a really fun like first episode.
No, yeah, I had a
So,
great time. Thanks for having
even
me.
through all my stumbling and bumbling of like, yeah.
No, that was so much fun.
Yeah, it
and I
was a
wish you
blast.
a lot of success.
Absolutely. Well, we're definitely going to have you back again for like another episode,
That'd be great.
And who knows, it could be collaborating with other musicians around here
That'd
as
be
well
awesome.
too. So,
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, thank you so very much. The first episode of the Tasty Twist. I want to thank Rebecca and Peter for putting this all together here at Okemo Valley TV. Ali T, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sammy
And
B.
Buddha, thank you for the luck.
And Buddha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Cheers, guys. Catch you next time.
Cheers.
Don't you worry now, my darling. Woo!
Yeah. All right. Woo! How was that? Pretty fun?
That was so fun.
Woo. All right.
One down.
17 on the docks. Yeah.